Hi, everybody. I'm David Oleski with the Rittenhouse Square Fine Art Show 5 o'clock Club, broadcasting from the home office in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Today, I have an exciting guest. Carla Bank will be joining us. Real quick, the show is coming up in just a few short weeks, September 20th, 21st, and 22nd at Rittenhouse Square Park in beautiful downtown Philadelphia at Rittenhouse Square Park. And it's going to be a great show. You want to check the website if you have some favorite artists you want to see, because a bunch of people are being moved. So if you don't see them where you normally would find them, don't fret. Keep looking. They're probably somewhere else on the square. So I personally will be on the opposite corner from where you all know and love me, and looking forward to it. It's going to be a great show. So here we have, let me bring Carla on board here. And there we go.
Hi, David.
Hi, Carla. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. So, for everybody's information, Carla is actually on the road right now with the backdrop of a beautiful Airstream camper. She's, as all of us, she ventures out about and in the country, and right now she's camping outside of upcoming show for this coming weekend. So you're painting for the show coming up. Are the paintings you're doing going to be at the show?
I don't know yet. Depends what sells in the other show. I have tons of inventory in my truck, but I'm always painting. Like anywhere I'm always creating something because I don't want to be low in inventory because
Or
I get anxiety.
that's the fatal flaw. So do you work in acrylics?
I work on acrylics. Yes, I do. Well, yeah, mainly acrylics. But then I do mixed media, and then I'm always creating something, with all the paint that drips on my studio walls. I peel it off and I use that as material.
Nice.
Yeah, it's here. This is all the paint dripping on my studio walls.
Wow. Nice.
So I peel it off and I bring it on the road. So I'm driving. Well, when my husband is driving, I'm cutting my shapes to create more
Yeah,
work.
I like that. There was an artist who I won't name now until he actually does one of our interviews here, but he actually will frame and sell his palettes.
I know who. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and I saw that. And it's like,
I
wow,
love that. Yes.
people really will buy almost anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you know what? It's a piece of your story.
It's just
And
it's
and and it's
part of your thought process, and I guess to see that illustrated, but it's random. It's not. That's not what you're thinking about. You're thinking about something else, and that's the byproduct. But
yeah,
I guess there's a story in that.
yeah. No, and you know what? And it's so beautiful. I used to before COVID, I used to throw all that away. I used to go to the garbage, but then I had my friend, my sister Karina, a year ago, which she's another artist. She used to come to the studio all the time, and she's like, "Don't throw that away. Make something with it." And I was like, "But what? I don't know." And one day, when COVID happened, I was literally watching paint dry, and I'm like, oh, okay. What about if I start cutting this? And that's how everything started happening.
So I work in oils, so anything usually the last thing I do before I leave for a show is clean my brushes and clean my palette because I just finished
Uh,
something. But that painting will definitely not be going into the truck.
yeah. So do you do abstracts with those, with all the
Oh yeah, well,
remains? Or?
both. Yeah,
Yeah.
my two different bodies of work. It's both with oil paint. So
Ah, yeah.
when I'm done, it's a week before that goes anywhere.
Uh-huh. Because I saw your fruits and then I saw your abstracts. So I was wondering. So is that where the leftovers go in the
Oh no,
abstracts?
there's no leftovers.
Okay, okay.
I do not repurpose what doesn't go in the can
Okay, okay.
on rags or scraped off or yeah whatever. I
Okay.
don't. Everything's very deliberate. I mix it and it's just very calculated what goes on.
Hmm.
There's not a lot of random elements, should I say?
Like me, everything is random.
Well, but if it works, if it's part of the expression, I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
a great thing. I think.
yes.
I mean, I could learn to do that. It's like I got different tools and different materials like oil sticks. And I would like make one mark. It's like, nah, I'm not feeling that. And I pick up the big tool and I start to like hold it up. It's like, nah, I can't use this. And I know I need to get my head around, make a mess first.
Yes.
Do something that is not to sell, it's just to make a mess. And I might need to make a mess like 10 times or
Yeah.
more before I even start to get a handle on different materials, different tools. And it's the part of play that I kind of have lost. But last weekend I was at a show and a guy said, I'll be really disappointed if next time I see you, you haven't started playing with these different things you talk about. So the gauntlet has been thrown down. So at some point, I need to start doing that.
Pressure, pressure, yes.
The pressure is on. Okay, so the upcoming Written Now Square Fine Art Show. This will
Hmm.
be your second time doing the show,
Second time, yes.
and you did it what last
I
spring?
did it, no, I did it, I think, not last year, a year before. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. And I
welcome.
wanted to do it. Thank you so much. No, I loved it. I loved it. And I had a great show. I loved the area. And, like Philadelphia, I was amazed. I was just walking. I walked everywhere. So, yeah, I'm like, this is a show that I have to come back.
It's a really great show, great neighborhood, great community,
Yeah, amazing.
fantastic. Where is home for you?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort
Yeah,
Lauderdale. So
yeah. Since COVID,
it's not Miami, it's north of Miami.
yeah, it's very. I love the area because I'm in the middle, so I can do Miami. I can go, Tampa, Orlando, or
Right.
the other side, Naples.
Yeah, well, right now I'm in the middle of applying to all of those shows because all the deadlines are coming up on
Yes, I
7th.
know.
So don't
No,
forget.
no, no. You just finish with one, and then oh my God, it's already here. Yeah,
You just get the applications out. Then, whether you get in or not. Did I even apply to that? Oh, okay. I guess we'll work it in.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's exciting. I'm looking forward to a change of scenery. But back to your experience with your Rittenhouse Square show. So you did it a few years ago, and now you're coming back. What's
Hmm.
your favorite thing about the Rittenhouse Square show?
Ah, well, first the clients they loved it. I mean, they will come and buy. I mean, I love the shows that clients come with a measuring tape. It's like, yes, they don't even ask questions. They're just like, okay, yeah, this is gonna fit. I love and Rittenhouse is one of those.
Yeah, they,
Yeah,
they know what they want.
very
They're
well
specific.
educated. Yeah, they ask like really good questions and so great conversations all the time.
Yeah, and they go to the art museums and they understand what they're looking at, and
Yes.
it's like Chicago. Everybody in Chicago, they know exactly what show is at the Art Institute at any given time,
Oh yeah.
and they can talk intelligently about past
Yes.
shows, and it's just an educated audience. It makes all the difference, and Rittenhouse is very much that.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So we always wind up getting on these big tangents about the food of Philadelphia. Do you get a chance to do any exploring of the restaurants when you're in the
Yeah.
city?
I have a recommendation from another artist friend,
Okay.
Laser Wolf. Laser
What?
Wolf.
Laser Wolf.
He told me I made a reservation. It was a hard to get reservation.
Well, this year's show is during restaurant week. So all the restaurants have special menus and they're,
Uh-huh.
for Philadelphia's restaurant week. So that's everybody that's watching this is planning on coming to the show. If you're planning on dinner, make reservations because
Yeah.
all the restaurants are filling up because it is restaurant
Yeah.
week.
It was they were really hard to get those reservations. Yep.
Yeah.
I
So, well, if you ever need any other input, I have so many favorite places depending on what kind of food you like.
I'm gonna be asking you. I
I,
love to eat. I
yeah, I
love
know
food. I
that.
love to eat.
That's the only reason we do some of the
Yeah,
shows we do is
yeah. I
the
totally planned my
restaurants are
show.
surrounded, and we have to go there. And
Yep.
and
Yeah,
my
yeah,
wife
yeah.
is really good at figuring out where we're going and which night and making the reservations. Like we already have this coming weekend totally planned. It's
Oh,
like anybody that says, "What are you doing?" It's like already booked.
yep. Booked.
Yeah. So let's talk about what do you want to talk about? Your work or you? You were born in Mexico City,
Yes.
but then grew up in Guadalajara.
Well, in Guadalajara and everywhere. I grew up in Mexico City, grew up in Cancun, but then I went to study to Guadalajara, and then I used to go back and forth to Cancun to keep, working to pay for my college. And that's when I met my husband. He was there on vacation, and I
Nice.
was working. I was a bartender, so that's where we met. Carlos and Charlie's.
So,
Yeah.
the school in Guadalajara, graphic design, was that a art school
Yeah,
or?
yeah, yeah. Graphic design, a lot of. I love that I was studying graphic design, but it was always a lot of painting and drawing and not because computers were, there was. I mean, graphic design, but it was super basic. I mean, no,
When did you
not like now.
when did you go to when did you go to school? When did you graduate?
1990. I was older. It was 1996. I
Oh,
was 20
okay.
something, and
That was beginning of the computer age. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. It was the
time was still
computers. Yeah,
paint stuff and
yeah. What we learned those years, it was like Corel Draw, and like
right.
right now that's like obsolete. But I finished my career late because I was always because I was, my mom died, so then I was basically I was paying for my college, so I had to take breaks to make more money to keep paying for my college. My brothers and me were very young, so I was kind of being the mom. I raised my two brothers,
Uh,
so yeah, so that's why I finished my career late, but I love it.
yeah, well, better late than never. And I
Yeah.
think you get a different education at a different stage in your life.
Hmm.
I went to art school right out of high school, and so I was still growing up right at the same time. I was trying to get my head around surviving in the city, surviving in art school, and learning the disciplines and everything. And it would have been a different experience. I don't know necessarily better, but different had it been later.
Yeah. No, and Mexico is great for studying art because there's so I mean, art is everywhere, and museums are everywhere, and everybody's an artist. So that's the thing that you have. I mean, to be able to make it there as an artist is really hard because everybody's super super talented. So yeah,
Really.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Even like small markets, it's like, I mean, I go like just like a small market. The idea, I mean, you just go to whatever to spend a weekend there, and you're like, wow, like the creativity, the ideas, and all the element, everything they use, it's amazing. So yeah, so it's a lot of inspiration there.
so what is the outlet for artwork there? Like here we have the outdoor festivals and the galleries. What do
No,
you
there,
have there?
no, there. It's a total different business because if you are, everybody's an artist. So an artist on the street, it's like it's packed because everybody brings their paintings, and it's not like a jury. It's not jury. It's just like they're just talented people go and bring their paintings,
Right.
and probably they'll buy their space probably, but it's very hard to get into that business because it's already saturated. I mean, saturated in with the people.
Right.
But so or the next or is gallery, like sorry, like shows, but like big like art basel, like very
Right.
very very high end
Artists.
shows. So you have, there's nothing in the middle. It's not easy. It's a very competitive market. So then it's more like artists that a gallery discovers and they have shows for them, and so. But you
Right.
have to be very, 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 very talented to you know to so to be able to make it in somebody's house, because the money there is either money, it's like the high class is super super high, or like middle. It's like a it's not
So
like
it's
here.
a different balance.
Yeah, the balance is not balanced like here. Yeah.
Right, right. Interesting. So I want to talk about your work, um, namely the colors, but also the images, the patterns. And everybody, if you get it, carlabank.com, spelled just like it sounds, and of course I'll have a link to her Instagram following the interview, so you'll be able well, you can even just probably right from here, you can click on her and see her Instagram. Her work is really lively, really colorful, really energetic. How much of that is in reference to your cultural heritage in Mexico, and how much of that is what you've kind of adapted as what you want to be presenting here?
I think it's 100% my heritage, because it's you know what? It's so funny because when I was a little girl, my mom, when he was teaching me how to cook, she will always tell me that that a plate has to have color. So she was like, if you're gonna cook, if you're gonna put tomatoes next to the tomatoes, put a yellow rice. Don't do white rice, because you need a contrast. So everything since that, and have carrots and have this, everything was a palette. She will tell me this. You have to make a palette with your food. So yeah, I think since, and then everything is like materials, all the small towns, each little village will make a different art. So that's why Mexico has a lot of diversity in art, and everything is about color. So maybe that's everything came from there.
So can you, uh, is your colors and your work, is it from a specific part of Mexico, or would you say that it's really well-rounded to, in general, the entire country?
It's more in general, because I'm always looking. I'm always like I mean, for me, when I look at a painting, first I look at the color, and then I look at the subject. Like like it's so funny because when I'm with my family they're watching TV, and I try to get away from the studio to spend time with them, but they watch sports and I don't like sports. so, so I'm sitting there, and instead of paying attention to the games, I'm like, that jersey doesn't match with that, with or like, oh,
Colors.
that's a great combination, Florida. Oh, they put orange with green. Yeah, yeah, they know what they're doing. I mean, I'm always like trying to put the colors together.
So, oh, that's fascinating. So, so the patterns, the designs, that's purely creative, or is that in reference to something traditional?
My patterns, I always want to make abstract shapes, like very simple. I don't like to do a lot of shading. I want to make it more like graphic, because I used to create posters in the 90s. So everything was, I always like the shapes very simple, abstract. And I think that's why.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, what can you tell us that we should know?
You should know. You should
Like everybody that's watching here, they're going to be coming to the show and saying, "Well, we saw that interview. That was fascinating." They might be looking for something. They might have questions for you. I mean, I see some of your work is this big, bold, designs, and other is more just textures.
Yes.
What's going on with
What
the
I
work?
want, you know what? I love to make. I love to work in large scale paintings. So I don't. I used to make smaller paintings, but I'm getting away from those smaller paintings, because I mean, and you know this. Like, we express ourselves better. At least I feel better when I'm working large. So all those small paintings, that I'm gonna bring some smaller work to Rittenhouse, but that's gonna be, I think, my last smaller work that you're gonna see.
Right. Good.
And I love to do
Beautiful.
big commissions, like always doing big commissions. I love when they're like, "How big can you make it?" I'm like, "How big do you want it?" Because I can make it if it fits in the truck. Yeah, we'll make it happen.
I find my commissions are only for small work, that I would rather not do anything small. I mean, I think I want my work to be immersive, that you're inside the piece, which is why everything winds up being really big.
Yeah, but do you like working in small canvases on smaller canvases? Don't you rather work in on large
Oh, I'd
canvases?
rather work large. I mean,
Yeah,
right now,
yeah,
like 6 feet. I mean, it's just,
yeah,
whatever tool I put up, it's like this little tiny thing and it's
yeah, yeah,
vast.
right. I don't know what to do with smaller pieces.
Well, I mean, you can't just zoom down the bigger thing. It winds up being an edited piece. And yeah, and I realized some people only have smaller spaces and they
Yes,
want
yes, yes.
little things they can focus on in a smaller space. And I realized that. And, and that's, the commissions are always for smaller work that I would never have in
Yeah.
inventory. I don't do it for the fun
No,
of it. There's nothing fun
no, no,
about
no, no.
small.
Small commissions are not fun. No.
So everybody out there, keep that in mind. If you're talking to an artist and you want to commission something, realize they'd rather work big, but if you're paying them, they will make a personal sacrifice and work small just
Yes,
for
yes.
you. But that's not them really expressing
No,
themselves
no, no,
the
no, no,
way
no.
that you should be supporting them.
No. I work smaller when I'm testing something. Let me show you. Like this was a test.
Oh,
So this is all the paint that I was working, that I was peeling off from my walls. But
oh,
these pieces, these are my mermaid tails. These pieces look amazing on big canvases. Smaller, they're very, very pretty, but when I make them big, they look like they look stunning. So
I
yeah,
mean, abstracts done small, they almost just feel like color cards or like color
right?
chips. Like you're at the
Yeah,
paint
yeah, yeah.
store, it's like, oh, I want this color. This is perfect. And it's like that's not a piece of artwork.
Yes.
But I do realize some people only have small
Yeah,
spaces and they want to
course,
be
of
part
course.
of what
Like
they can
I have
do.
a small I don't have a lot of walls in my house. So when I see my friends, my artist friends, that I want a piece from your same, and that happens to me. Like, I really want a piece of your work, and then, well, it's not gonna fit in my house. But yeah, I'm looking for a smaller work now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I tell people you'd probably be surprised what could fit in your space, and I always try to invite myself to come over so I can see their space and say,
Yeah,
"Oh, I am really perfect for that," and yeah, you'll be surprised, and yeah.
yeah.
So you're where you're in Bethesda this coming
I
weekend.
am in yes. Right now, I'm in Reston in at the
That's it.
in a campground because I have I left 3 weeks ago, Florida. So I did a show in Chicago, Milwaukee. So
Oh,
now I have, what is next weekend? Bethesda, right? Bethesda? No,
Bethesda, yeah.
yeah,
So
Bethesda.
Milwaukee, isn't that a great town?
I love Milwaukee. I love it. I could live there. Yes, I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah,
Yes.
something just so charming, and all the little bridges, and yeah,
And it's inexpensive. I'm used to the Chicago prices, the parking, $40
yeah,
parking lots, and these parking lots were like $3. I'm like, really?
yeah, yeah.
Are you sure?
Milwaukee
Three
is an
dollars?
underrated city. They've got pickleball courts and
Yeah.
they're like in the underpass, and in the restaurants. And did you go to a public market?
Yes. Oh, I love public markets. I
Yeah,
love it.
that
Yeah.
seafood place right inside the door. It's like, oh, I pig out because I can't stop.
Yeah. Yeah. We just found a great restaurant, like a fusion, like an Asian fusion called Room Service. Oh my God.
Really?
Stunning. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. 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 We stumbled into it. So if you're there, try it
yeah,
because
I
it
have
was
to
amazing.
remember.
Yep.
This is the first year I wasn't there in a few years.
Ah,
Yeah.
I love that show. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I love the town. And then it's a wonderful people. Just that Midwest charm.
Yes. Very cool people. Very down to earth. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right, what else? What do you want to talk about?
Nothing. So I'm gonna be here. Still, I still have three shows. So I'm gonna be 3 more weeks on the road, and I can wait to go back to the studio.
Yeah.
Uh, and then we'll start over again with the season. There's always a season. We never.
Oh, I know. Well, we're
When
not
do
into the
seasons
next
start? Never
season. This
ends.
one's ending.
Yeah.
I mean, this season's not even over, and we have
No.
deadlines for the winter shows coming up.
Yep. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So this is Rittenhouse the end of your season for the fall?
No, I have a written house. Armonk is Armonk
Oh, yeah.
before or after?
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Is that after? Yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
after
after.
written
That's
house.
the week. That's the weekend after. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I go back to Florida to finally sleep in my own bed,
Nice.
not on the road, because And then and then we start with the Florida season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
almost every weekend, almost. Yeah.
So do you do the driving with your towing your Airstream?
Yeah, I used to do all the driving myself, but that now my kids are older. They have now now we can leave and we don't have to, take them to the soccer game or talk
Right.
to the
Right.
teacher. So now my husband is starting to come with me. Uh, but in Florida, no. In Florida, he doesn't come with me. In Florida, he's like, you already had me driving all over the country. Now this is my break. So yeah, in Florida, I just do it myself.
So Sharon Strine, our exalted chairperson, says a
Mhm.
great conversation. Looking forward to seeing your artwork and visiting Milwaukee sometime. Sounds great. Yes, Sharon, if you ever get a chance, Milwaukee is just endlessly charming.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's a fun time to be there. I mean, last weekend the sun's low and it's just the sunsets just light up. And there's a German pub called Mahler's where the men wear the little shorts and suspenders, lederhosen, I guess, and then
Ah,
the waitresses look like the St. Pauli girl wearing the corsets, and you get these big, German wheat beers. Which I'm not a huge fan of German food. I had Spätzle, vegetarian Spätzle. I've always
huh.
heard of Spätzle, and I've never had it. And they had vegetarian Spätzle there, so I was able to taste it. It's a pasta of some sort.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was just fun. And then these beers, these crazy giant mugs of beer. It's like, I'm never finishing this, but somehow you can. And I guess it is good for digestion, something about what they put in their wheat beer. But
Yes, and
I'll,
everybody's fun there. Yeah, everybody has fun.
yeah,
It's like, and nobody gets mad. Like everybody's in a good mood,
yeah,
right?
yeah, there's something just so charming about the people, which
Yeah.
I, I think that about every show I do, that you get a sense of the character of the people there by being there for a few days. You see where they're going to get their coffee. You see how they are when they are just going out to get a newspaper and a coffee. And then late at night, there's a different side of them. It's a fun part of doing these
Yes.
shows. And
There's some places. Yeah, there's some cities that I don't want to return, but there's some. But there's other ones that I'm like, I can live here. Yeah,
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 I mean,
yeah. Milwaukee is
yeah,
one
like
of them. Yeah.
Philadelphia, that's my
Philadelphia, I
local town.
love Philadelphia. That was and you know what's so funny that when you grow up in Mexico and you see the states, every city is famous for something, right?
All right.
So when I was, like Chicago, we were always like, oh my God, Michael Jordan, and Orlando was Disney World, but Philadelphia was Rocky Balboa statue. So
Yeah,
that movie
because
was so important when I was
they're-
growing up. Yeah. So when I did Rittenhouse, I had to walk to find the statue. And I had to take pictures because, that movie was, we grew up with that movie. So, so I was like, I gotta go instead of going to the museums. I wanted to see the Barnes Museum, but also like I gotta see Rocky Balboa.
what a lot of people don't know about. If you go around the back of the museum, it's called the Waterworks. Is the original pumping station
Oh,
for all of the vents and wells of Philadelphia City, and it's gorgeous.
oh,
There's like this Gothic, buildings, and then where they would divert the water to power the pumps to get it up to the reservoir.
oh,
So it's just
wow.
gorgeous. A lot of people. There's there's a walkway way out in a little covered section right on the edge of the dam, and people go out there to get their wedding photos taken because
No
it's
way. Oh, you gotta
it's
tell me
gorgeous.
where that is.
So
I want to go
if you
there.
need to go back to the Rocky statue,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
remember to walk around to the back side of the Philadelphia Museum to see the waterworks, which is just lovely.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have to go. I'm not gonna go back to see Rocky. I already saw him. I have a
But
picture already.
did you go to the art museums?
No, I didn't see that.
Well, you have to go to the art museums. I
Yeah.
mean, the Philadelphia Museum of Art is a striking collection, and there's a huge underground edition, which was
Okay.
designed by Frank Gehry, but it's all
Oh,
underground. And then,
oh.
uh, and then there's the Barnes
Yeah,
Foundation, which is
the Barnes I went to, that was incredible. That I had, the thing is our schedule because the shows, when we finish the show, it's the museums are closed. But I took a day off to stay, to see the Barnes Foundation.
good.
That's yeah,
And
I
then, and
love
then
that one.
the Rodin
Oh
Museum.
my God, yeah, that one too. I had a chance to see it too,
Good,
and that
good.
was amazing too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I
Not
was
only Rocky, not only Rocky.
and I was just driving through Philadelphia today to pick up my frames, and there's a huge construction project going on, and I'm wondering if it's the Alexander Calder Museum that I've heard is planned.
Oh wow.
It's going to also be right on Ben Franklin Parkway. So there's some huge project going on. So I'm curious what that's
Ah.
going to be. So Philadelphia just continues to keep getting great.
Another reason to keep coming back. Yep.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about the show.
Yes.
It's going to as I mentioned, a lot of people's booth locations have been spun around and moved to different parts of the park. So it's going to have a real different look for the public coming up. If your favorite familiar faces may not be on the same corners you remember them.
Hmm.
So do you know where your booth is going to be?
No, I haven't checked that.
Oh, you're right on it then.
Do you read all the instructions that you get? Tell me the
Well,
truth.
every single show, it's just they send you a whole book to read. It's like, and do your research, and you have to study this, and click on these links, and make sure you download that and print it somehow. And
Yeah, and then you're driving, and then
and
you're
it's have a show
painting.
this weekend, and everyone is sending you a copy of War and Peace that you're supposed to, digest this, and then and like this show this coming weekend, they're sending texts that are like kind of angry, like, wow, that's a harsh tone. And he's still tries to make everything a little sweeter.
Oh
He's the way.
yes, I got that text. Yeah,
Yeah,
and don't come at this time. And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
there's fines, and then
don't
after the
park
fine,
here.
it
Don't
is
park
really
there.
going to come down on you. And it's just, oh my gosh, it's like, really, is this really is the same show? But
Yep. Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
we try to remind ourselves that the artists are really important and really sensitive, and they need to be
Yes,
taken care of. So we strive for our artist relations to make sure we do everything we can to accommodate the artists.
and that's
And,
why I love your show because you can tell all the artists taking care of each other. Yeah.
right. And the entire board of directors is all made up of exhibiting artists, except for the treasurer and the executive director who's just too busy. Everybody else that's on the board also is going to be doing the show. So
Mhm.
we're right there with everybody. We want it to be the best it can be for everybody, including ourselves. So all the decisions we make are really for everybody.
But you can tell the quality of the work when artists are involved. Because seriously, I 2 years ago when I walked the show, I was amazed with the quality. Gorgeous.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, having a show that doesn't have any photography or mechanically reproduced or printed
Hmm. Hmm.
artwork, there's a purity to it that
Yep.
everybody you see, it was their hands on those pieces, and there's something about that big of a collection of exhibitors that all have they could say that's my hands on that piece.
Yep. Yep.
Nobody's phoning it in. Nobody's everybody's hands on with this. So
Yeah.
we put a lot into it, and we're constantly kind of upping our game. I mean, I've had some experiences at some of the shows I've been doing and some dialogues I'm having with people, and just kind of understanding what is fine art as
Hmm.
opposed to what is a product.
Yep.
You know, and then the notion of formula and process.
But
So,
I
well,
I love that you have that. So, everybody's gonna have an original piece. In other shows, that some, if you're a digital artist, you can bring prints. If you're a photographer, you can bring prints. But if you're a painter, you cannot bring your prints. So I feel that in your show, we are all on the same. Everything is fair because you need a piece of our work. You're gonna buy a piece of our work. Not that the other ones are not a piece or they're not art, but it's we're on the same. We are. I think it's a fair game there.
right. I
Yeah.
mean, the idea that, there's some kinds of exhibitors that can say, I can have this made exactly like this, but any size you want, cropped differently, and I can phone it in and have it delivered straight to you. That's never going to happen at this show. You're
Yeah,
never going to
yeah, yeah,
find somebody that can accommodate anything somebody wants without even leaving their booth.
yeah.
And that's it's becoming a thing that I'm more and more aware of that. That these
Drop
shows,
ship, the drop ship. Yes.
yeah, drop ship straight from the factory, straight to the client, and I don't even have to touch it. And there's nothing
That's
missing
true.
there. It's like, well, you should be touching it. You should be doing
Yeah.
something to, other. How do you call it? Art. It's a product.
Yes, that's true. There's a
So
there's a there- there's always a story behind that piece that you buy. I mean, we spend hours with our hands touching it. Yeah.
and the board of directors, we're also really good friends, and we spend time talking, and we get together, and we have these dialogues. Just as something we're interested in. It's not just the job of the show, but it's what we do, it's who we are, and we regularly are having these conversations. And I think that also kind of keeps the show really tight, that
Hmm.
it's not designed by committee, that it's
Hmm.
very specifically, we're constantly second guessing what we could do better.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you appreciate
No, no,
it.
no. I appreciate it because I mean, if there's other shows that they allow, whatever reproductions, and I'm fine with it. I love to sell my reproductions, but I love that this one keeps it, like smaller.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
And,
we
and,
have.
and that there's nothing functional. You're not going to see housewares. You won't see swinging chairs. You won't see footwear.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. When I see that at an art show, it's like, really? It's like, what a
I'm
slippery slope
competing.
we're on here.
I'm competing with flip flops. Yes,
Yeah. Well, I have already.
with a tutu dress from
Yeah.
China.
And somebody here is selling welcome mats. Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, totally.
But that being said, I can do really well at those shows too because I don't have competition. There's a whole section of people selling welcome mats and trivets.
Yeah, that's true. There is for it. We have everything. We have all these shows around the country, and that's the beauty about it. We can pick where to go, and yeah.
All right. Thank you, Carla. This was a lot of
Thank
fun.
you, thank you. This is fun. Sorry, you didn't see my real studio, but at least this is my studio on
Oh,
wheels.
it's fine. It's fine. Anybody can get on your website, carlabank.com, and then there will be a link to Carla's Instagram profile in the comments
Yeah,
after this. So you can see her work. And of course, you have to come to the Rittenhouse Square Fine Art Show
yeah. You have to.
on September 20th, 21st, and 22nd and see the work in person, as well as 130, some 40 something exhibitors, plus the students in the center of the park, because
Oh yes,
the show was founded on art students just displaying their work. And so that's a really important part of our mission to give a sounding board for these young emerging artists.
yes. I love to see that.
Good. Well, thank you, and good luck with this weekend, and I'll
Thank
see
you.
you this weekend.
See you soon. Yeah, see
See
you
you
soon.
in a few days, and travel safe. And everybody out there, thank you for tuning in, and hopefully see you at the show.
Bye bye. Take care.
Bye, you too.